I have never in my life been so excited to sit on a toilet in front of 300,000 people. If you're new here, I'm Sam, and I'm turning my cargo van into a tiny home. So far, I've tackled the exterior work, insulation, flooring, an off-grid electrical system, and even built a full bedroom. But today, I'm moving on to the part of the build that honestly feels like the most ambitious yet, a fully functioning bathroom. That means plumbing, a shower, a hot water heater, and everything you'd expect in a regular home, but inside a teeny tiny van. Oh, and did I mention that I only have just shy of 8 weeks to get this entire build done before embarking on the most important road trip where my husband will be competing in national cycling championships? Yeah. So the big question is, can I actually fit a full bathroom in a tiny home, and can I get it all done on time for this big race? Well, I guess we're gonna find out together, so let's get started. This video is sponsored by Renogy, but more on them later. Alright, listen, if you thought that the electrical system was a doozy in this tiny home build, today we are tackling what has single-handedly tried to break me as a human being, plumbing. Now, if you watched my last video, in that video I actually built a bedroom in the tiny home, and the reason I built the bedroom was literally because I was so frustrated with the plumbing portion of the build that I needed to move on to something that made me feel successful. So, here we go. Now, luckily, this portion of the project started with something I am very comfortable building, and that is a cabinet. And I wanted to build the cabinet for the sink before I built anything else in this space because I needed to be able to run some of the plumbing lines through a hot water heater, through the sink, and then into the shower wall. And I didn't want to actually run any of that plumbing until I knew where it was going. Luckily, I actually at this point had already built the box that all of the plumbing stuff needs to go into, and you can check that out in the electrical video because I kind of did both at once before making the bedroom. But since that was already done, I could kind of just focus on the fun interior stuff, which is where we're kind of picking up in this video. And at this point, we're just gonna enjoy me being blissfully ignorant and thinking that this is gonna go well, because in just a few seconds, this is not gonna go well from the jump. What I'm about to do is so insignificant, but it feels so important and so big to me because I'm about to actually put a panel on this wall, which means I am kind of officially started to close up the walls now, which is like wild. So I'm not worried about what this looks like. I got a special plan for it later in the process. We're just gonna get this up. Actually, first drill a hole for this wire and then do this. Ah! Well, as if this project and everything hasn't been stressful and complicated enough. I'm pretty sure I just broke my camera. Screen shattered. The freaking lens isn't like lensing. It like gets stuck. I mean, the good news is I have like a plan on it to fix it, but the bad news is if I send it in, I'm gonna have to find another camera to record with. No use crying over a broken camera right now because I literally only have like 2 hours to get some stuff done. So we're gonna keep working. I'm gonna put the camera on and hope that it actually records the next part of this project, and I'll record on my phone as backup, but like, come on. I need emotional support. Fix me. Well, in case we were wondering what the tone of this video is gonna be like, here we go, friends. It's gonna be a doozy, so buckle up, but we'll get through it together. Took a little breather from building out the shower because my camera was not cooperating, but I got good news and bad news. The good news is that I actually purchased an accident protection plan with that camera, so future Sam is thanking past Sam for that very wise decision. But the bad news is that I had to send the camera in to get fixed, so I am going to be recording a ton of this project now on my old iPhone, so hope the footage looks okay. I'm feeling better that the camera can be fixed. Let's get back to building out this like bathroom shower stall sitch. I'm really excited to see it come together. Let's do it. Check this out. My brother is the best. Jordan, the one who edits my videos, who's also in the Air Force, he knew my camera was broken and he sent me his camera to use. So now I don't have to film this on my iPhone, which makes me very happy. So let's try to figure out how to use this thing and go through some growing pains with a new camera and then get back to work. I really just want to finish framing out the actual shower slash bathroom stall today, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah! So we'll talk about this a bit more in depth in a second, and I thought, of course, my camera was recording me build the shower stall, and it wasn't, but I started building the shower stall and waited for my toilet to arrive before I could do the rest, which we'll talk about now. I have never in my life been so excited to sit on a toilet in front of 300,000 people. Good morning, friends. So my brain is on overdrive today. I woke up very motivated to work on this van. I have a to-do list of about 56 things, but I think we're only gonna have time to get like 2 of them done today, so we're gonna curb our expectations a little bit here. As you can see, we have a toilet, which is great because this is exactly what I was waiting on to get here. In order for me to finish framing out the shower, I needed the dimensions for the toilet because my goal is that I really want the toilet to be able to slide into the wall and under a bench when we're not using it, because the shower area is already kind of tight. Today's to-do list is finish framing the shower, fit the toilet into a bench, and frame out the bench that the toilet's gonna sit in. I'm pretty sure I could actually probably get the entire bench done today. I don't need to make a top for it quite yet because there's still some other things that I have to figure out. But yeah, it's actually really important for me to get the framing done in the shower today because Dad will be here in a couple days to help me with plumbing. He's super excited to help me with plumbing, so like, why not? And you know I love working with him, and I know that you guys love him as much as I do, so that should be fun, but can't do any of that until we do some of this. So let's get started. Okay, now that I'm not talking to the camera anymore, we can actually talk about what's happening here. So in order to build the shower stall, I took a bunch of 2x3s, I drilled some pocket holes in them, I basically made freestanding walls, attached those walls to the size of the van, and then closed up those walls using plywood to make a shower stall. Whew, I feel like that was a pretty good rundown of what I just did on camera that didn't record on my camera, if you know what I mean. But anyway, once that shower stall was done, it was then time to move on to a bench. So annoying, but a couple of days ago when I was in here, it was freezing outside, and if you can't tell by my hair today, it is very hot and humid, but your girl has the fan on because she wired it up correctly in the last video. So if you didn't check out the last video, check out the last video. But let's get back to framing out the shower. At the moment in this build, I thought it'd be really cool to build a bench so I could hide the toilet in when we're not using it, and then put a hatch in the wall in order to then like pull the toilet out on drawer slides when we needed to use it to save space in the shower area and to just make it look a lot cleaner. I'm not gonna lie, spoiler alert, in hindsight, I kind of wish I didn't do it. We're going to talk about why this particular decision that Sam made for this project threw me for a loop for the rest of this Forsaken project throughout this video, but for now, let's enjoy me celebrating the fact that I built a bench. Okay, got everything that we wanted to done today. Wild, this humidity. I need to make sure that this chair can go back far enough for Chris to drive because right now it is like literally touching the bench. So I may need to shorten this, which would suck because the fit is kind of perfect, but I'll figure that out when he is home and can try to drive in it. In the meantime, though, framing for the shower is pretty much done. This wall I'm going to leave alone until Dad gets here on Wednesday because we're going to be actually running plumbing to the shower and to the sink. And really, once the plumbing's done, honestly, this thing is going to go so fast. Like, did you see how fast I was able to do framing in the bench? That was like one day job. Very excited for this to come along. I don't know, I think we're only gonna have like 2 or 3 more videos after this, but like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We gotta finish this one first, so see you when Dad gets here in a couple of days. Bye, friends. Dad's here, time to get in trouble. Yeah. So, okay, fill, vent. One of these is the drain and one of these is for the cold water line. Okay, we're back. We're having a day. I think we need to just like figure out some stuff and then come back on a different day. Actually, he just ran to his truck, so while he figures out some stuff, I'm gonna drill some holes. Let's get something done, right? Remember in the last clip when I was like, this is gonna be so easy, it's gonna go so fast? Yeah, I completely jinxed this project because on this day that Dad was here, nothing was going right with plumbing. We could not get anything to work. What are you throwing at me?
Nothing's going right.
Nothing is going right. Oh my God, you almost took me out. So while I kind of left Dad to figure out what plumbing fittings were missing or not fitting, I decided to move forward with closing up the shower and doing something productive, or else I was going to lose my mind. We then decided it'd be best to regroup the next day. So of course it's pouring outside on the day that Dad and I want to work on the van. So I pulled the van up like as close as possible to the garage. It's like literally almost touching the garage, and I did that just so we don't have to really work in the rain. So Dad should be here in hopefully the next hour or two. I'm actually gonna get started wiring up some lights in the van because it is dark in there and I'm tired of working in the dark, and it is rainy season right now. I swear it's raining like every other day right now. So I would like to get lights in the ceiling, and then when he comes here, he's gonna get a head start on the plumbing. We're just gonna have to divide and conquer today, otherwise we're gonna get nothing done. So let's do this. You're doing great.
Yeah, wonderful.
Don't blow up my shop while I'm gone.
See you later.
Okay, bye.
I feel like a child. She's going to be videotaping me while she's gone.
Yeah, I'm watching everything you're doing. This is my version of nanny camming for my dad.
Yep.
One of the things I love about working with my dad the most is we're really good at dividing and conquering, and we're really good at each having like our own task that we're really good and quick at doing. So while he tackled plumbing, I started getting everything together to put some lights in the van. So dark in here. If only someone knew how to put the lights on. It's so much easier.
You have a paddle bit?
I do.
Where?
If you go in the shop,
Oh, here
I have
she
a whole
goes.
entire basket full of them.
Ugh.
You signed up for this.
No, I didn't.
You were like, oh my god, you're doing a camper van? I can't wait to help you with it.
No, I try to run.
And then I can't wait to take it on vacation with Mom.
Yeah, with Mom.
I really thought electrical was going to be the pain. I think it's the plumbing that's been the pain. Nothing really like fits together. We've had to find these like strange connectors and adapters and reducers and like all these things for the plumbing. So
Try to MacGyver something.
we're MacGyvering away. I'm so happy Dad is here. I'm literally at the point where I'm like, yeah, I'll go handle electrical, Dad. You've got the plumbing. All right, let's get back at it. I got more lights to get up. All right, let's see. Let's turn this thing on.
I'm standing back.
Yeah, I think I want to stand back too. I'm scared. It's working! I did it!
Yeah. Now we need 15 more.
And speaking of power, let's take a beat to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Renogy. When you're building an off-grid van, there's one thing that you quickly realize. Almost everything needs power. The water pump from my sink? Power. The ceiling fan? Power. The AC unit? Power. And even all of the little lights over the kitchen and in the bedroom? Power. And when you're not plugged into shore power, that means solar is your best friend. That's why I'm so excited to be trying out Renogy's brand new 200 watt ShadowFlux N-type solar panels. These solar panels are actually the market's first N-type panels, and they're boosted with the ShadowFlux anti-shading technology, which is a game changer in a build like this where rooftop space is precious and shadows from roof vents or gear or trees are inevitable. Most panels lose a ton of efficiency when part of them is shaded, but these have cell-level shadow management that keeps them producing power even if part of the panel is covered. Translation, if I park under a tree for some shade or my AC unit casts a shadow, I'm still charging my batteries and keeping my water flowing and the lights on. So basically I'm squeezing every possible watt into my battery bank even on cloudy days, which means more time cooking, showering, and editing videos and less time chasing the sun. In fact, I was so curious about this new technology and how it would perform that I decided to run my own little test on one of the 200 watt solar panels. First, I tested how much power it pulled in smack in the middle of a mostly sunny summer day here on the island. And then once I had a baseline reading, I then moved a potted plant in front of a portion of that same panel to mimic some real-world tree coverage and tested it all over again. And honestly, I was pretty surprised at how much wattage it was still producing even when it was partially shaded. Another thing I love about these solar panels is that they are lighter and smaller than comparable panels, and in van builds, every inch and every pound counts, so that is huge for fitting everything on the roof without feeling like you're building a flying brick. And because this van is going to see all kinds of weather and all kinds of road trips, durability was key. These panels have an IP67+ rating, so they're ready for rain and snow and even small hail, so we're set up for success in any climate we travel to. They also have a durable frame, which adds impact resistance, so I'm confident they'll last for years of road trips without me constantly worrying about damage. So if you're planning your own off-grid setup, whether it's for a van, a cabin, or a tiny home, definitely check out the Renogy ShadowFlux N-type solar panels. I will drop a link in the description below this video so you can learn more and start powering your adventures the smart way. And speaking of adventures, let's get back to this build so we can finally finish it and actually go on one in this camper van. And as promised, we are picking up right where we left off with Dad working on plumbing and Sam working on electrical. Oh my goodness, I'm like so excited about these lights. Like, who am I? Who am I? I'm like actually enjoying electrical work. Who am I? I hope I have more lights. It really is amazing how far I've come in my confidence with electrical. If you haven't watched my electrical video, I pretty much spent the entire video panicking about working with an electrical system and basically learning a foreign language, aka like everything electrical. And now I am so comfortable with it that I'm just like adding lights for the sake of adding them all over this van. I mean, even the dog is impressed. I just want to take a moment to talk about this. First of all, can you believe I did that? I can't, and I did it. But the thing that is the most exciting is it is like fully running off grid right now. How crazy is that? And it's not really using that much power. Like all these lights on are only using 16 watts. If I were to just run lights and nothing else, like we'd be solid. 87% battery. I'm really excited. I even got one in the shower. All right, let's do a project of the day recap.
I'm over here now.
I don't think I could see you. I can't see you.
Oh, there I am.
There he is.
Oh man, I'm getting fat.
Buddha belly. So today started out
Rough.
slow. I don't know why this plumbing
Rough.
system really has been giving us an issue.
Very rough.
Would you say this is harder than electrical so far? Yeah, right?
I can't say that. I'm a plumber. No, it's not as hard as electric.
Okay, well, I think it is. That's why I'm making him do most of the
It's a
work.
pain in the beep.
But good news, we have lights in the van. Remember, I was so scared of doing electrical.
Yep.
Now I'm a pro. Watch out.
Yep. And still no water.
Yeah, we still don't have water though, but that's
You
okay.
have a dirty nose.
Dad's gonna come back in a couple days.
Maybe.
And he's gonna help with the rest of the plumbing. And it's gonna be great.
Oh, I see a white dot on there.
All right.
All right, we got to wrap this up. I'm starving. She
Yeah,
didn't feed
I'm
me
hungry.
again today.
I bought him
She
lunch
bought me a cold
and coffee. Okay, well, and now the dog's trying to eat inanimate objects. I guess he's hungry too. Come on, let's go have dinner, everyone. See you in a few days.
Father's Day.
So I ordered the hatch for the toilet door 3 weeks ago because shipping time was supposed to be 5 days, but it's finally here. So today I am going to dry fit this thing into the van. I also have to do some work to the framing in order to fit the drain for the sink into the drain for the shower, and then therefore into the gray water tank, which is going to be mounted on the bottom of the van. So Dad's actually going to be stopping by after work today to help me with that. There's lots of stuff that needs to get done, and I'm really starting to worry about the timeline because we're at that point in the process where like I can't get to the next step of the process until the step before is done. And the plumbing process is kind of holding up a little bit of the build. And on top of that, I'm also at the point where I'm having to order custom things for the van. And these things are just taking forever to ship. We're getting kind of close to our trip and I'm starting to legitimately panic. So we'll see where we are after this. I think I'm gonna actually like book an emergency Airbnb for this trip just in case we don't get there on time. But we're not gonna panic yet. We're gonna stay cool as a cucumber until we can't be cool cucumbers anymore. So yeah, let's do it. Keeping it real, up until this point, I was confident that I was getting this van done in time for nationals. And then once plumbing kind of started giving us a hard time and I had to start waiting weeks for things to arrive, I really started like low-key panicking that I wasn't gonna make this deadline that I wanted to for this big trip that we had to take. I will say I like the way that looks a lot better. These mosquitoes are terrible. Dad's here.
Yeah, big deal.
And he didn't let me film this.
Nope.
But he drilled a hole through my floor. That's where the drain's gonna go for the plumbing.
Yeah, watch this. Was that dog poop I was laying in?
No, that's paint.
Okay.
You're through. So while Dad's working, sorry, I have like strawberry in my teeth because remember the small garden I made in a day? We have strawberries coming in. So let me show you the mess I'm making over here. The hatch door is a little bit too big for the shower, and I custom ordered it to like the actual dimensions I needed, and it arrived too big. So like that's so frustrating. And basically if I want to order another one, it'll take another 3 weeks to get here, and I don't have that kind of time. So I have to now like make this work. So I've kind of rebuilt this shower wall a little bit, and then I had to rebuild the bench a little bit. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you. It's a real mess right now because I just keep having to like put this thing in and retrofit it, but I had to rebuild this wall. I added some additional bracing, and I had to cut the opening for this door bigger. Now what's gonna happen is I had to remove this portion of the wall because otherwise I can't hang a door here. So now I'm basically going to attach this directly to the studs, attach a slightly thinner piece of wood over it, and then that way I can screw the door still into something. The other thing that I had to do today, because that is a different size than what I ordered, is rebuild this bench. So I actually had to add a riser underneath, which in hindsight is not the worst. So the bench is a tiny bit higher, the opening is a little bit bigger. I have to still square up that top, and then I'm not going to worry about making it look pretty yet, because this is actually what I'm going to be putting inside of the shower. It's like a lightweight vinyl that looks like tile, and I'm going to be using the cutoffs from that to make that hatch opening look pretty and also be waterproof. It's funny because like I really thought the electrical was going to be the thing that broke me on this project, but so far it's been the plumbing and the shower. So it's just like there's like these little things that are eating into my schedule, and I thought I was gonna be on time, but now I'm running behind time because of how long I had to wait for that hatch and now all the things that I have to do to fix it. I'm gonna keep trucking away and try to get all of this to fit. Dad's gonna try to finish the drain in the back today, and then I'm gonna have to probably finish the plumbing by myself next week, which is fine. Like, I'm actually not scared of that sort of plumbing work, so I think it'll be fine. The only thing I'll need probably help with is getting the gray water tank on the bottom of the van, because it requires like loosening up bolts where the gas tank is, and it'd be nice to have a second set of hands to help with that. So that's all I got. What a bummer. Dad and I were just finishing up for the day, and there's like a freak thunderstorm outside. I'm taking this as an opportunity to check for leaks in the van, to be quite honest. And since we're hunkering down till it passes, check this out. We got plumbing lines in the shower. You're doing great. Yeah. Now he's really stuck with me because it's raining out. We got the AC on, we got the fan, we got the lights.
Washing my car in the driveway.
The only thing we're missing is the kitchen. Dad had to run. I'm going to attach the hatch door to the chaos that was my entire day. You know, like I had a really frustrating day the past couple of days, mostly just because, you know, like I said, I'm at this point where I just feel like I can't catch a break on this build. But you know, then that like freak storm came, and Dad and I kind of got stranded in here for a little bit to do some work, and we were just running totally off grid. Like, I have lights on in here, the fan's running, the AC was on, and it really was just like the small moment of remembering, like, okay, yes, today was really frustrating, but look how much work we've gotten done, look how far we've come. So I just have to keep having those moments, or I'm gonna continually get frustrated and then like start putting things off. Like, that's my toxic trait. My silver lining today is that it is literally storming outside and I can still work because the lights are on and there's airflow in here. So that being said, I'm gonna get this hatch on. I'm gonna do a dry run to make sure the toilet will actually come through this door, and then I'm gonna call it a night. The good news is that tomorrow I can actually install the kitchen sink because the plumbing lines are in place for the kitchen sink, and that is something that I actually know how to do and should go smoothly. Knock on all the wood. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't come up too high on the drawer, but we're gonna have ourselves a hidden toilet. Let's go. Comfy. He's drilling up from the bottom of the van just to make a little pilot so we know exactly where the drain needs to go. Now, once the interior plumbing was done, it was time to add the gray water tank to the bottom of the van. Hello down there.
Huh?
Hello down there. So for those who don't know, the gray water tank holds all of the wastewater from the sink and the shower runoff, and we won't need it for the toilet because the toilet is a vacuum sealed toilet. And once Dad was done with his exterior work, I tapped in for some more exterior work on my end. It's officially hot season, so I think that it's time to put the awning up on the van. As per usual, I want to give lots of love to my friends over at Nunaka Gear Co. for sending over this awning. It has been a game changer. One down, 2 more to go. There's a lot of poop on top of this van. Complains that it's hot and decides to wear jeans and high tops. Makes sense to me. So while this awning was a really easy install, it was heavy and definitely required a helping hand. So kudos to my friend who wanted to come help with this build, who's very camera shy and didn't want to be on camera, but that's okay. Honestly, Nunaka gear has come in clutch for so many parts of this project, and this awning being one of the biggest ones, because now I'm able to set my tools up underneath it and work outside of the van, even on super hot days. So, like, serious game changer. Highly recommend. And while it was nice to take a break from the plumbing portion of this project to do something else, I did have to go back to the plumbing portion of this project and cut the countertop out for the sink cabinet so that I could install the sink, which honestly wasn't that bad. It was like installing a sink in a house. And quick note about the design of the van, because I've actually gotten this question from a few people. I did decide to keep all of the plumbing on one side of the van, which is why I'm putting the sink next to the shower instead of putting the sink across from the shower in the kitchenette area. Since this is my first van build, I did not want to overcomplicate things, and putting all of the plumbing on one side of the van means that if anything leaks or goes wrong in the future, I can very easily fix everything because it's all running on the same cold water line. And a huge shout out to my friends over at Brooklyn Camper Van for giving me that solid advice, because it was so helpful. And speaking of helpful things, it would have been really helpful to pre-stain all of these pieces before hanging them. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I keep not learning my lesson in this build, so here we go, staining things as I go, yet again. But no, honestly, I'm being a little dramatic because of all the things in this video. Staining the cabinets were honestly the easiest part, not gonna lie. But yeah, after everything had a coat of finish, I added the sink countertop and installed my sink, and man, am I so happy to have a sink in here. Good thing I'm like teeny tiny human. Here we go. This one being ambidextrous comes in handy. I feel so much better that that's done. Sink is in, things are painted. Now I just gotta wait for Dad to come back tomorrow so we can finish the plumbing in the shower. Then we're gonna close up those shower walls and the shower floor, and hopefully be able to actually share this video on YouTube finally. So see you tomorrow, friends, hopefully, with Dad. Bye. Friends, heading out to the van, have my to-do list. Dad will be here in a few hours to hopefully help be able to finish plumbing today, which would be great because I really am behind on this project. Also, a little sneak peek for the real ones, how empty my living room is. We're starting a major project in this house, so stay tuned. This is also part of the reason why I'm like kind of behind on this project, because oh my goodness, it's been really busy around here, so yeah. In doing my van research, a lot of people told me that I would probably regret having a shower in the van, and although I haven't used it yet, my reasoning behind this was because we travel for so many races for Chris that it would be nice for him to have a place to shower after his races instead of having to like drive home sweaty. The one caveat being, though, that because I had to put all of the plumbing underneath the shower, I did have to raise the floor a little bit, and he stood in it the other day and like just barely fits. So I'm really hoping he actually uses the shower because it was a lot of work. Wait, guys, don't worry, he's here.
Who?
You.
What? Where?
We've been waiting for you all day.
Who's here?
We've all been waiting for you all day.
Can't help it if I work 8 to 4.
Can't help it if he has a full-time job. But Dad's working on some plumbing. I have to rewire this switch because it's not compatible with what I need it to be compatible with, of course. So I gotta hook up this. That's the last thing on my to-do list today. Oh, I didn't check those off yet. That's the last thing on my to-do list today, so let's do it. At this point, Dad and I were beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel because today was the last day that we were really working on actual plumbing stuff in terms of like getting water to fixtures. So while Dad finished the lines in the shower, I worked on the electrical for the water heater, and we kind of divided and conquered, and then it was time to test everything out. Okay, moment of truth. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. This is my infill. It's going down this pipe. Now it's filling up. And once it gets like a little higher, we're gonna start turning on the pump and some faucets and seeing if everything works, right?
Nope.
What do you think?
Nope.
We sprung a leak in the pump line. Dad to the rescue. We have water! Oh, yeah, it's wet.
Is it?
Should I shut the sink? I shut the sink. Oh. What? We have water? I could shower in here?
Those are quick too.
Yay! And we're good to go. The shower looks like it has no leaks at least.
It's hot.
So the good news is that the plumbing in the shower is perfect, which means that I can actually start closing up the wall, which has been the thing that's been holding me up this entire time. So I'm gonna start doing that hopefully tomorrow. And then we have a couple of leaks. We have one under the sink. And we have one in the water pump. We just have 2 fittings that we have to replace that weren't quite great. We just got like 2 duds in a couple of the packages, which happens sometimes. So those are easy fixes that I can actually tackle on my own. So I'm gonna take care of that. But I'm just really happy that the majority of the plumbing is done. So can't wait to start closing up that guy, hopefully ASAP. And that's next time I'll see you, friends. So bye. This is just a little behind the scenes fun fact for all of you, but whenever you watch a video, at least recent videos, where I start the video doing a lot of talking to camera and vlogging and hanging out with you on camera, and then all of a sudden in the video, for the rest of the video, you like don't see me doing that, that's a pretty good sign that I am so over the project, honestly. And yeah, this is about to be one of those. It's going to be fairly quiet for the remainder of this video because it was at this point that I just really needed this project to be over. I was dreading the project. I was coming to this realization that I wasn't quite sure this thing was going to get done, and we'll talk about timeline and updates at the end of this video. But yeah, I was not feeling it. And side note, in terms of the process of me putting this shower pan together, I kind of just did this the same way that I would do a shower pan in a house, and the reality is that probably wasn't the best way. In fact, my buddy Chris at Make Everything Shop, who is an amazing metal fabricator, did actually offer me the opportunity for a commission where he would make me a custom shower pan for the camper van, and I totally flubbed on asking him to do that. And in hindsight, it would have been so much easier for me if I just took him up on his generous offer to make my shower pan for my van. So thanks, Chris. You're the best. You're the real one. Everyone go check out his channel. Go check out his work. He is super, super talented. It is unreal. And I am massively regretting not taking his help on this project. But you live and you learn. I would say, like, you know, the next van build I'll do it differently. But right now, after doing the plumbing portion of this build, no one's convincing me to do a second van build, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, after adding the shower walls, after closing up the floor, after doing all the things I would do in a normal bathroom project, it was time to waterproof the entire shower stall, which I did using RedGuard. This is so important. You really don't want any water leaking in your camper van. And then once that was done, it was time to add the shower panels. Legit though, the shower panel system I used was actually really awesome. It is made for residential showers. They are essentially these large sheets that you can glue onto your existing tile or your wall in order to make your shower waterproof and make it pretty. And in a normal application, these things are super easy to install because you're working with straight walls, but because the walls in this van are not straight, in fact, nothing in a van is straight, I did end up making templates using foam board insulation that I was then able to transfer to the panels before cutting them out and attaching them to the wall. And this was so important because honestly, as cool as these panels are, they are not cheap, and I only had one extra and did not want to mess it up. And yes, I'm wearing sunglasses inside because I could not find my safety glasses, and these things essentially throw teeny tiny pieces of plastic at your face when you cut them. While I wanted to be really excited that the shower panels were up, there was still so much work to be done, including but not limited to a shower floor, adding a door, waterproofing everything, adding trim to make everything look nice. So there was still a lot of work to be done. In fact, I think from the day I started the shower panels to the day that I finished the shower was easily over a week of work, which doesn't really translate in a YouTube video because it goes pretty quickly, but if you can't tell by this like 40-minute video, this one was a doozy. So in terms of the shower pan, like I mentioned before, I wish that I took my friend up on his offer, but I didn't. Instead, I used these lightweight mosaic tiles so that I could still slope the floor so that when the water is on, it'll drain. Although in hindsight, I realized that if I'm parked on a place that is not level and I'm parked on like any sort of incline, I don't really know how the slope I made is supposed to work, which is why I mentioned that I made a lot of mistakes in this portion of the project. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna have to check in with you guys after our first camping trip to see if this thing is actually gonna drain the right way or not. I will say though, the mosaic tiles came out great and I think that they look awesome. Oh, and while I'm brain dumping and talking your ear off during this part of the project where I decided that the camera was my worst enemy, I wanted to talk quickly about the weight of this entire project. I've gotten a lot of questions about being conscious about the weight of this build out, and I'm basically keeping track of the weight by the materials that I'm buying because most of this build out is plywood, so it has been kind of easy to keep track of how heavy the build is, although I am going to take it to a weigh station once I'm done because I am curious to see how much weight I added. But in terms of like tile versus a shower pan, if I used more of like a fiberglass or a plastic shower pan, yes, it definitely would have been more lightweight. But adding these lightweight tiles actually, I don't really think added too much weight to the van because they literally weigh less than if I were to just put more plywood, if that makes sense. In fact, a really big reason why I haven't closed up the walls yet is because I wanted to save some weight throughout the van by not closing up the walls before I put the counters and the cabinets in. And then I also didn't really want to add too much framing if I didn't have to. I'm kind of adding as I go. Also, look how stupid proud I am of my dumb toilet drawer box. But speaking of closing up walls, I decided that I wanted to close up some walls at this point because I was tired of looking at wires, and the more I look at wires, the more things I decide to wire up in this van, so I think it's time that we close the walls and leave well enough alone. It is actually pretty amazing what closing up walls in this van has done for not just the overall aesthetic of the van, but also for my personal well-being. And while I wanted to just take a break forever from doing the shower, there were a couple things I still needed to add, like trim, for instance, and also a shower door. And the shower door really did pull together the entire look of the shower. I will say the method of applying this thing that came from the factory feels a little weird. Like it literally just attaches to the wall using like a heavy-duty double-sided tape, which I'm not quite sure I love yet, but we'll see how it goes. The good news though is that once that shower door was installed, really all that was left was some like little nitty-gritty finishing touches, such as getting the rest of the trim on, adding some stain to those exterior shower walls, and also making sure that my pride and joy, the toilet drawer, would fit. And actually not just fit, but also function and like hold a full-grown human being, because I did not go through all this work and this waiting for a toilet door hatch for this secret toilet Murphy door thing to not work. But luckily it fit, which was a great positive way to round out this plumbing portion of this project. Man, I have so many thoughts. So let's sit down and talk about them, and also talk about whether or not I am still making this super important deadline for nationals. I cannot begin to tell you how amazing it feels to be sitting down right now and talking about the end of this portion of this bane of my existence part of the van. It's so funny because in hindsight, I really thought that the electrical portion would be the thing that just destroyed me. I can confidently tell you that it was the plumbing section that did that, so. There is still so much that needs to be tackled here. I still need to close up the sink cabinet. I still need to put final coats of sealer on the walls. I still need to close up the bench. I still need to like tackle tiny little leaks that are happening under the sink. If we're looking at the positives, at least the bulk of it is done. I think the shower looks great. I'm stoked on the toilet. I'm so happy that the hot water heater is working. Like, what a f***ing concept. That being said, let's keep it real here. With all of the setbacks, plus all of the work that I had to do, plus like waiting for things to get here before I could do the next step, plus literally getting an entire bedroom done in this van before the plumbing was even done, we're looking at about 9 weeks of work. So what does that mean for like nationals, Sam? Since you were on a tight timeline for nationals. Well, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is we making it to nationals. In fact, nationals has come and gone. Nationals is done at this point. But the good news is we have a national champion, you guys. So even though the van didn't make it to nationals, we still made it to nationals, and Chris left nationals with a national championship. So kudos to him. I'm so excited for him. I'm so proud of him. Leave him some congratulatories in the comments because I know that he would love that. But yeah, I am so pumped. And although I'm kind of like sad that I didn't hit my goal of reaching nationals with this van, really all that's left in this van is to get the kitchen done and to do some final touches and make sure that it looks pretty and function. That being said, friends, thank you for all of your patience throughout this process. This has been the most frustrating yet rewarding project I think I've ever worked on in my life. There is a lot going on in my house as well while I'm working on this van, which we'll talk about on the channel very soon. I cannot wait to share updates with you, but definitely go to social media, by the way, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, because I have been sharing little itty bitty sneak peeks there on my Instagram. But next time we're gonna tackle the kitchen, and then we're gonna tackle some final touches, and then very shortly we'll be able to do a full tour of this van, which I am so excited about. So let's not get ahead of ourselves though. There's still so much work to get done, and in fact, I'm going to stop this video and go work on the kitchen, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll see you soon with another project, friends. Thanks for being the best. Happy DIYing.